to do the thing. Oh, hold on. I need to start recording as well, so just in case. I don't know why it says I'm streaming, but I don't see the chat. I don't understand why it does that. For goodness sakes, man. It's like it's not me, it's OBS, I swear.
Hold on.
Hold on. I'm gonna go back to my YouTube.
I think it is streaming.
It's streaming,
It is.
but I can't see chat on my chat window. I just need to see like I don't get it, but oh well.
It's there now.
I see the chat window.
It's kind of funny because I don't see it on my OBS. Oh, whoops. That's not what I meant to do with the chat. But oh well. I'm sure it's there on the on YouTube, which I'm gonna do anyway. I'm gonna go to my channel. Cause there it is. There it is. Alright, I see it. I see it now. Even because like if you on OBS I had the chat to the side and it doesn't show up. I wish there was a way to like refresh it without cutting off the stream. Maybe I'll learn how to do that. But welcome everyone. We were just talking about how like some people in the idea of gatekeeping video games while we were waiting for me to do my stuff. It was interesting. Hello, I am the Captain Falco. I run this thing. I don't usually introduce myself, but I'm going to do it today because I want that to be a consistent thing. And there down there is they should introduce themselves. Victor Shep will be later on, but there's my co-host Frago. He's a good guy.
Hello.
And Relix, he's new.
Yeah,
so, somewhat.
I'm the new bird guy who just landed. Yeah.
And boy, are your arms tired.
Yeah. Well, apparently, like eagles, they can soar for long periods of time with the wind. Like when they're up there, they spend about as much energy flying as if they were just sitting on a stick.
I've noticed that when I have a lot of hawks in my area or falcons, and on windy days you could just see them just glide. It's they're not really, they're kind of moving against the wind a little bit, but that's to get to their target easier. So it's like it's really neat to like to have that sort of thing, and you always see like other birds like attack them because they're getting near their nests. So anywho,
yeah.
Video games. So we weren't able to finish the other one, and we're gonna finish this one today. It's the subject was like I think he's going for more for the spirit of video games that are dying, not necessarily that like from a money perspective. That's from a money perspective. Yeah, they're really good. They're fine when it comes to money. And new games are always being made every day. So he's just worried about these long-lasting franchises that like once had like good intentions from like from companies that probably had good people with a few bad eggs. Now it's like the word is coming from the top that there are no, like, there's going to be bad eggs, you know. So so that's what I think it is, and we're probably just gonna go over there. Oh, look at that. All right, full screen. Are you guys in? Are you prepared?
Yeah.
Do you see Shrek's
Yeah,
screaming face? Take on it.
It's beautiful.
I do see it. Do the roar. The only meme that came out of Shrek 4, I think.
This is Shrek 4?
Yeah, this is Shrek 4.
Ah, all right.
You are a true connoisseur.
We also need to accept, to an extent, that we are to blame for the state of game.
Hold on. What was the subject again?
Whoa, what?
What was the subject? Extreme criticism. Oh, hold on.
We are to blame for the state of gaming?
Well,
the fans are the problem, right?
it depends on the contextual thing, because I do kind of agree how, like, if these games have selfish things in them with extreme greed, we keep them afloat. But the thing is, though, hashtag not all, because I don't buy microtransactions. I've never done it. I should say, like, greedy microtransactions. I've bought cosmetics for Deep Rock. And once in a while I did actually get some mobile stuff. Like, but that was like one or two purchases. Like, I'm trying to keep my own house clean when I talk about this stuff, because you need some integrity. But like, extreme criticism. Okay, okay.
We also need to accept, to an extent, that we are to blame for the state of gaming. We
All
are the
right.
consumer, and we are also the critics. But back before the world of YouTube, people might have complained about their games to their friends, or they would have found a forum to talk about and rant on. However, it wasn't to anywhere near the same scale as it is today. I'm a good example of this, and I won't hide away from the fact that this video is a sequel to my Is Gaming Dying video, which, when I released it, fundamentally at the time I believed everything I was saying in that video. Maybe now, looking back on it, there is some things that I would disagree with. However, for the most part,
I really don't. I really don't care about your other video, but like, it's always good to reference your older stuff. But like, I don't know. Would you mention another video? Like, and then not actually reference what you're trying to say? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't do that. I would probably do the Mahler approach, where it's basically where it's like, I mentioned this in this video, but I'm going to redo it again. But then again,
Yeah,
I
the lack of context. Excuse me, the lack of context. If I haven't seen the previous video, I'm not gonna know what he's talking about.
or like, I sort of feel that way if you had a series of videos. It's like, yeah, this is meant to be a part two, and therefore it's like you should have watched that one first. Like, all right, that's fair too, to some extent. Like, I'm not gonna blame them for that, really. It's just that I think everyone's video is their first, so it's like, so you kind of have to toe that line of doing both.
I ended up learning more about other people's perspectives on that video, and that was kind of the best thing that came from it. But the reason why I mention this is that this channel went from being 450 subscribers to then taking me to 8k, I believe, after that one video, and then over time I'm slowly gaining and gaining more. And this is all because, realistically, I had gone into that bit more cynical route. It was a video that was kind of off the top of my head, just scripting a video, and it didn't take me too long to do. It wasn't something that was necessarily like built to build into the algorithm, as some people might think. It was,
Well,
Okay.
do you guys think it's well, like, it's I'm gonna have a little bit discussion about, because like, do you think it's bad to be algorithm based?
Well, even then, he's making it sound like this bad thing where it's like, I didn't put that much effort into the video, but me being more cynical apparently got more views. It's like people are willing to take more cynical views than
Mm-hmm.
positive. Sometimes they want to hear the criticisms that people have against these sorts of things
Mm-hmm.
and learn from them.
It's always
I also feel like
Mhm.
I feel like if it's authentic, it's not really a problem. But like sometimes a
True.
person will have a channel where they create various types of content, and then this one video becomes very popular. And now they only do that type of content, and they just switch the entirety of what they make. I feel like that might be, you know, a problem.
Disingenuous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you should not follow a trend, but it's like, you have to see, like, how you do that sort of thing. Are you just doing it to trend chase, or just doing it to make money? Because there are going to be situations where it's like, yeah, I do have to change my content, or else I can't survive on the platform. But that's a very rarity thing, and you do cost yourself your integrity because of it. So there's always going to be examples where they do it because they had nobler intentions. But it's like, it's kind of funny. My probably my most viewed video on this channel is Mahler raging at Suicide Squad, Killed the Justice League. But I don't make that. That's just, I just wanted to make a meme video. It has nothing to do with anything. And it's up to you if you want to trust that my word, because but I don't just make memes just to actually I make memes so they can look at on the meme fabs. That's what I want. But I want to see their reactions to it. I want to see their honest, genuine reactions to their own content after a long while of not seeing it. It's just, it brings me joy to see their reactions. But that's my true intentions. But
it is your only joy in life.
Yes.
To watch their reaction.
Mm-hmm. And and but if I wanted to get views, I would just try to capture that thing again. And I'm not really. In fact, I am making the Buffy video, so it's I'm just, because I'm really caught up in the Whedonverse again. So
It was literally just some of my thoughts on games, and all round, because of me being cynical, I could have delved even deeper into that trap of just making more just negative content all round.
I really don't like the sentiment of if it's negative and I get popular for being negative, therefore it's a bad thing. It's well, then if the people can't stick around for your honest criticisms of something positive, then they're not fans. They just want to chase negative things, because that's how it's easier for the human brain to accept something that's negative, because misery loves company and all that stuff. It's just a part of human nature that it's easier to be negative than it is to be positive.
Now there will always be those YouTubers who levy criticism a lot of the time, but
mm-hmm.
they'll usually get stuff wrong most of the time.
They can get stuff wrong. I don't want to say they're.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, do you not want me to name anybody, or?
No, it's fine. But there are 10. Imagine if there's 10 video games or movies or whatever, 10 products that come out, and 8 of them are just awful, but 2 of them are great. Now, if you really want to be oh, I don't want to be negative, so I need to make sure that those maybe 2 more of them are just okay. No, what you're doing is you're lying. Just because something is more negative of this product doesn't mean you get to lie about it. Yeah, most of it's crap out there, but these 2 things are great. Kind of like movies these days.
With the world of 2005, you were able to complain about the new game, but most people weren't online looking for this sort of content, and algorithms hadn't got to the same stage that they're at right now, knowing that outrage culture will just garner a longer time on the platform at mass than anything positive.
That's not true.
I don't think that's completely true.
No, that's not true. There are plenty of things I look to be positive. If you go to any React channel, in any one of them, they'll do all the same thing. They'll soy jack at the things that that bring them a lot of passion, and those get thousands upon millions of views depending on the channel.
I feel like there's a difference between, if you're browsing the algorithm using shorts, or if you're not making any decisions, and then the algorithm will curate it based on your attention, like how long you spend on this short or this video. And if that's what you're doing, it might be more negative. But if it's curated and you're actually using your brain and making decisions, it will become a lot more positive, because then you will pick out the things that you like to see, as opposed to the things that offend you and you spend more time on it. So
I mean,
that could be the opposite too, where it's you thought it was positive, but if you dig deeper, you realize how bad it really is.
Well, there's also the fact that there are plenty of people that shit on negative videos. Like, for example, Synthetic Man's God of War Ragnarok
Yeah,
video.
boy,
Everybody shat on that.
dude.
Yeah.
But what you're saying, the logic should have been that they all flocked to that because it was a negative review. But everybody fucking clowned on that.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what he's saying. It's like you guys really like it because it's negative. Therefore, it's algorithm bait. It's like, no, I think the intention matters a lot when it comes to like because people live in infamy don't have a good reputation. Just because you're talked about doesn't mean you're going to get clicks. Like this is a fallacy that like no any publicity is good publicity. It's dumb. People need to stop that. It doesn't
Yeah.
in anything. Okay, The Last Jedi is known for tearing the fan base apart. And that started the downfall of like the noted downfall of Star Wars. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how much money it made. Its reputation is in the dirt. Dark Side Phil, Boogie 2988, like Wings of Redemption, Destiny, Hassan Piker. These people are just like known for being some of the worst people. And
Organized chaos.
Synthetic Man. It's like
Yeah.
these all kinds of things, or it's like they're known for like they're locale for a reason because they tell the world about their problems. Like, and people get the clown on them. But like we're not looking for negative things about them. It's just that's what they are. We're just messengers. We're not. It's it's kind of like in the 300. You don't shoot the messenger. You know, like you don't kill a messenger. Like we're just telling you that like this is what's going to happen. Like
Yeah.
and this is what did happen. But you have to get your references right. If your references is right and you think it to be negative, then congratulations, you win. You don't need to lie about your position.
Now, what I class as extreme criticism is people complaining for the sake of it, or not acknowledging any form of the benefits, and just being extremely cynical of something without massive reason about it. Like, for example, I've openly said
Yeah?
many times, and I've said about it in this video, I'm anti-Assassin's Creed Valhalla. However, I give the game that it does look amazing. The first
Oh boy.
They have lots of money. And a lot of people working at the company. That's what it is. Like I'm not trying to be cynical about his video. It's just that AAA games look great. It's kind of like the AAA sort of movies where it's like, oh man, look how good that Vista is. It's like I'm sorry, but like the reason why I go to indie games is not because they look good; it's because they play good.
What's the name of that? What Never Knows Best? Is that his name?
I think so.
The guy who went after Kratosis.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. It reminds me when he tried to defend the game Gollum, and he was like, "No, guys, you must understand. The game's not completely worthless. See, it's got a good soundtrack sometimes.
Oh,
It's like, yeah, it's got some good music sometimes, but first off, a lot of the music is shit, and second off,
mhm.
that's not going to distract me away from how shit the game is.
Like I it just sort of reminds me like when people like say like you can't make fun of this. A lot of people worked on it. They worked hard. It's like yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's whatever, dude.
Yeah, that doesn't
It's
work. That
if
doesn't work.
you know what, a lot of people give you that crap meal, you know, and you're gonna enjoy it. Okay, that steak is raw. You're gonna eat it.
They worked hard to burn my steak.
They work hard to not cook it and season it. Like all right. Because, like, you know, the creator is never wrong. The artist is never wrong. It can't be the artist. It has to be the studio.
They
It's
worked
the
really
audience.
hard. They worked really hard to microwave that burrito.
Um, that happened once on Kitchen Nightmares. They microwave a steak and they give it back to him. Like,
Yeah, it's just like, are you fucking kidding me?
first 30 hours are actually quite good. The gameplay loop is really good for that first 30 hours. Then after that, it drops off a cliff because you start then questioning when is this game going to end, and it turns out you're only halfway through. So I am aware that there is good elements to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. However, for me, the
I love how it says Valhalla, and we're looking at Last of Us 2, probably.
negatives vastly outweigh
No, it's the first Last of Us.
One of the biggest examples
Are you sure? I've never seen
Yeah.
that. Okay.
though of criticism that I've seen online that I just find really weird is how some creators out here will just talk about how they're very skeptical and they don't like how Starfield looks based off of the gameplay that we've been shown.
Well, yeah, that's what a trailer's for.
Oh, is he gonna bring in Az? Is he gonna bring in Az?
Oh
Dude.
no, he's gonna. I
Please
hope
do it.
so. Because here's the thing, I will defend that rant. I will.
But then are really hopeful and are really just getting more and more just interested for the new Assassin's Creed when all we've been shown is literally no gameplay trailer for one, and
Well, dude, that should put up some red flags for you. Okay, if you're not shown any gameplay stuff, then that's concerning, because that means they're not confident enough to bring you gameplay. Because here's the thing about Ubisoft, that's like they have the same gameplay loops all the time. And so they're like, hey, show us something different. And they show you like a trailer that has no gameplay. It's like, like, what's the matter with people criticizing? That's not no reason, though. Like, getting shown something and then criticizing it, that's not no reason. That is a reason. Like... But if someone said like, man, it's going to be bad because of a race of people are in it, I'd be like, well, that's no reason. Like, I mean, if it had nothing to do with with the game at all, is what I'm saying.
it's like a 5-second clip that is on Reddit. That's all we've been shown, and it's in like 480p. Like, who cares? Why are people hyping up Assassin's Creed Mirage, but then trying to just completely just trash Starfield at the same time? It seems more like a bias towards Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed, and just an extremely
Really?
Well, what's the track record of people in Bethesda? They have a history
like
of
at a
disappointing
certain
people.
point.
Like,
After Fallout 76, people
no. Before that, Fallout 4. Like, Fallout 4 is like, man, you guys need to update your stuff. And then Fallout 76, man, you guys really need to... Remember that interview with Todd Howard talking about, like, we have no need to update the game because people will do it for us. And, like, they'll buy it anyway. It's like...
Yeah. At a certain point, it stops being a bias towards a developer, and it's just a reputation.
Yes, reputation matters, because here's the thing: the people you defend with you have to be careful when defending a company against criticism, because you know what, these things aren't free. Okay, we go out and we buy these things for $70 now, these AAA prices, and it needs to be at a AAA like level for us to enjoy it. It should at least be done. It should at least be like, it's not going to be bug free, but it should be bug, once in a while, like stuff. And it should be enough where we can play it without going offline. Like, the launch should be stable. Like, these are things that should be commonplace, but it's not with these AAA companies, because they work people to death. Like,
cool take on the overall opinion of Bethesda. I do heavily correlate this entire issue with YouTube, though. You could argue that with the internet becoming bigger and bigger, it was inevitable, but I think YouTube, as it is the platform where almost all of the discourse around games happens, this is the one that I'm going to stick to for this conversation. With the rise of YouTube being a platform...
That's fair. I think most gaming content happens on YouTube. That's fair.
Did this video come out before or after Star Wars Outlaws? Because with him going like people are just biased against Ubisoft, that
I don't
Star
know.
Wars Outlaws.
When did
Star
this
Wars
come
Outlaws
out?
is gonna be a very. Let me check.
Hold on.
All right.
Because this came out before
year
Star Wars
ago.
Outlaws. Oh, it
It's
was
a
a
year
year
old.
ago? Oh
Um,
boy.
well, here's the thing. We can mention Starfield though, because Starfield did come out.
Well,
Like,
he said Bethesda, he said Starfield and Assassin's Creed Mirage, and he said people are biased against Ubisoft.
well, gee, I wonder why.
Probably
Because
because Ubisoft is like one of the worst companies.
they're greedy. They don't give you all their promises, and they have you seen the like? It's kind of funny. This is reinforced in their like Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like, have you seen that? Oh my gosh, it's hilarious that voice acting.
Yeah.
So,
Then
anywho,
you also have the Ubisoft started the trend for a while. It's not as egregious now, but still, they would like release a gameplay trailer at E3,
mm-hmm.
and that wait, hold
What?
on. Oh, Shep wants to join.
Yeah, okay. Um, let me get there real quick. Hello.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
Shep. But yeah, as I was saying,
Hello.
they would show the gameplay trailer at like E3 or something, and it would look a
Anyone
lot
have
better
anyone
than what
speak?
it looks like when you actually play the game.
Well, yeah,
Like
you're talking about
if you look
sleeping
at
dogs. Yeah.
you mean Watch Dogs.
Watch dogs, whatever.
It,
Sorry.
it, it was it was also Rainbow
Sorry.
Six Siege. It was also Rainbow Six Sieges, if
What's
I'm
happened?
correct.
Why is it dark for me?
This is the
Oh, that's why.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on.
this is the
Okay, there we go. All right, sorry. I just need to make sure it's not dark for me. That way people can see it. So, are you in the watch together? I gave you a link.
Yes.
All right. Where do you see Geralt there in red and
Yes.
it looks good.
Uh,
Looks good.
this guy is on the subject of game criticism,
Mhm.
and his main point before he continued onward was that gaming criticism is why games are the way they are now.
Is that
Yeah. Games
is that
criticism has part of the blame, I believe.
okay? So that can be positive or negative,
Yeah.
depending on how he's using that.
He said we are part of the problem, and I'm like, well, I mean, aren't we all also part of the solution as
I
well?
didn't he
I
Like,
was gonna
didn't
say,
he
does that?
didn't he also say that I could be wrong, but didn't he also say that people are looking
are
for
looking for
ne-
criticism.
yeah, they're looking for criticism and negative game response, and
Mhm.
we've already disproven that fact by talking about the fact that there are people who shit on negative videos, and there are plenty of positive videos that affect people the same way, though different. It's still similar.
There's also like the idea of guilty pleasure. Like the idea it's like you play a bad game on purpose because you want it for the lulls and the memes. Like sometimes we go out looking for bad things just to, just to have fun. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
the one that I'm going to stick to for this conversation. With the rise of YouTube being a platform for anyone to speak their mind about anything, we saw a massive rise in gaming. And at the same time, you had Minecraft and YouTube building up at the same time hand in hand with each other. Both were a massive reason for each other's success. However, the reason that we ended up coming to this platform is relatability, which is great. However, relatability is a very slippery slope towards only finding people that you agree with, especially
I don't think that's particularly
Well,
true.
that's true. I think it's true, and I think it's true and
It
not
could
true.
be.
Because we do want to be relatable to one another. No man is an island. All that philosophy stuff. And then there's the idea. It's like we do want people to just agree with us sometimes. Like that's just in the back of the head psychology.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah.
but
Go ahead.
we don't. I mean, if you're a person that goes out and looks for something, though, you don't want to stay too stagnant. Like, because a lot of, I think that some people will want to go and actually look out for something to sort of disagree with. Where it's, and that's could be negative or positive. Because life would be boring if you just never got into a discussion about anything. So this is why like sort of EFAP was born. How like this is copied. Like I want to stretch my mind and see what would be agreeable or disagreeable. Like it's always nice to have like a conversation, even if we don't agree. We can still shake hands at the end of the day. You know.
Uh, yeah, just yesterday, me, Falco, and Shep for a little bit. Uh, we watched
Mm-hmm.
Chris Stuckman's review on Mickey 17 and IGN short on Mickey 17 as well. And even though I sounded harsh, I did still want to listen to their criticism. Well, not criticisms, their points, because
Well,
I
to
fucking
be
hate
fair,
Mickey 17.
to be fair, criticism is a neutral term, so it's fine.
Yeah, but I wanted to listen to their points because I
Mm-hmm.
fucking hated Mickey 17, and I wanted to hear what they had to say, as as in a positive factor. Uh, yeah, turns out all of their points were shit, and Chris Stuckman spent like almost 4 minutes talking about his advertisements in theaters, and only spent like 3 minutes on the actual fucking movie.
It's a 7-minute video. What do you
Yeah.
expect them to do? Oh
Well,
wait.
I think I think the point Exile is trying to make here is that
Ooh.
you
Mm-hmm.
can get drawn into a rabbit hole if you allow the algorithm to make too many decisions for you. And then
It can.
like so for example, I clicked on a couple of videos of a girl who has like a rescue for lions, and so she can just walk around and pet them. And now my feed is filled with lions
Yep.
and alligators and stuff.
Oh
And, and
yeah.
and that's what he's talking about in terms of reviews. If you watch one or two movies about like how wokeism is destroying video games, all of a sudden your feed can be filled with that. And now, if you're not too careful about it,
If you're a sheep,
all you
yeah.
hear is the negative sides.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're a sheep and you don't make decisions for yourself, I think that's the point he's trying to make
Sure.
in terms of criticism.
Yeah, that's how it sort of began. It's like I understand. It's like, but again, like when you become too comfortable, you're like the frog in the hot water. You don't realize that you're boiling. It's sort of like that, where you could stay stagnant too long. But like again, like you'll I think someone who sort of will see something else and like I hate that other review over there because it's disagreeing. I'm gonna go over there and watch it. It's like even though like they may go over there just to laugh at or whatever. I'm like in the back of the mind, I'm sure they still argue with that point in their heads. Because that's up to me sometimes. I'm like, I don't know why they said that. Why did they say that? Like, doesn't make any sense. And then later on, I'm like, that's why they said that. It's like it's like it still happens in the mind. Like it still plants a seed of like, does it really make sense or not? You know. So at least there's something.
Especially in the context of creators and your favorite games. Which means when you find that person who says the right thing that you agree with, or they convey a point to you that you somewhat agree with, or they've just said it in the right tone or right way, you end up trusting them way more than just the random person that gives a take on a game that you completely disagree with, even though they could be giving valid criticism. With games, though, this has meant that not only
Well,
Mhm.
well, this can
Yeah, I
happen
could
to
see that.
anyone. Yeah. Like, all right.
does YouTube thrive off of negativity, but the echo chambers aspect within it that we all love and hate at the same time, because as much as we all do hate echo chambers for the fact that, people end up being swayed too much and get radicalized by their opinions, also it means that we get fed the content that we kind of want to watch, but this does lead to the issue of you kind of only trust some people's opinions online, meaning that when our
Well,
Well, yeah,
hmm.
that's how life works. I only trust some people's opinions.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's like, well, why do you trust those people? So because we've have a rapport, they have they have integrity I can trust. Um, they don't they speak their minds, or like maybe they vibe with you. It's like there's a lots of reasons, but like there I don't think this applies to all this applies to content creators, because when it comes to content creators, I'm like their integrity is foremost the biggest thing I think that draws me in, because as long as they're honest with me and give their opinions even if I disagree with it, at least they're telling me something that they believe. Like I was watching Chud Logic, and he said some things I didn't agree with, but it's like I understand why he said it. So he has a lot of integrity that I can trust. It's like there's so many reasons to like somebody, but to trust somebody is completely different.
Our
I
favorite
think you
content
can
creator.
like somebody
Mhm.
because you trust them.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm just saying, it's like you can, that's that's true. If I'm thinking about it, like, is there somebody that I don't trust, but I mean somebody I like but don't trust? It's like not really. It's
Creator tells us that a game is bad, we end up just believing them wholeheartedly and not really having a reason to play the game after that. Slowly, though, this adds
usually when I say like it's kind of funny now. It's like automatic for me. It's like I don't like this thing. Why? That's usually the next question, or not so much in that way. It's like, really, tell me why. Like.
So, and here's the thing. Uh,
Hate
I
Trump.
I went into Mickey 17. Yeah, expecting a bad movie, but I wasn't wanting it to be a bad movie. I heard that it was bad from people I trust,
Mm-hmm.
but I was still giving it the benefit of the doubt because a movie can't be as bad as they're actually saying, right? So that that's proof that not everybody's going to fucking go, well, I this person said it was bad, so I immediately believe them. No, people are willing to either go out and experience it for themselves or look online to see if their criticisms were true.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as simple as they hear it's bad and therefore they will immediately agree with them. It can happen. It has happened with some people, but not everybody.
It's if you're a reviewer or content creator, and or if you're watching one, and even if you agree with them, it's like it could be worrying that they're not giving references. Like and it's like, man, um, but of course you don't need everything to have a reference, of course. But it's like sometimes it can be a little bit of a red flag. Uh, sometimes.
adds up from many different creators maybe that you watch who say some things that are bad about a game's release, and this ends up just building to you just having a negative take on a game's release. However, the truly bad side of this is when people are just being cynical for the sake of it, especially when they know that what they're doing is going to get them tons of
So, oh, okay, hold
views
on.
and clicks just because they're giving hot takes that are hot takes because typically they are just very wrong. I will just be honest. Like,
Yeah, of course.
He's going to give an example.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Yeah.
for example, the amount of people, and I guarantee there is
Uh,
channels out there who have cultivated an audience saying the likes of The Witcher 3, Breath of the Wild, and Red Dead 2 are not good games, because the amount of people on my Open Worlds video who told me all three of those games aren't actually that good, I guarantee you there is channels out there who have cultivated an audience by saying they aren't good games, which just means that fundamentally they want to stand out, they want to be
So
different and edgy.
Well,
what what
what
would
if
you
they
what
really
would
thought
you
that?
Alright.
What if they really thought
Okay.
that though? Like,
what would what would you say against Jim Sterling when he made his Breath of the Wild review and everybody fucking criticized him, even though he gave that game a 7? It's like people
Seems
people
pretty
are
fair.
people are willing to turn on people for criticizing famous games like that. And I mean, yeah, Jim Sterling's a fucking moron, and I love Breath of the Wild, but Jesus,
I've had lots of criticisms about Red Dead 2, and I love that game.
I just
Yeah.
For certain
Mhm.
reasons. I mean, it's
There-
again like there's a lot to criticize. I feel, and those I forget the other two games. I think one was Breath of the Wild, and
mhm.
the third
And
one I don't know.
and
But
I
regardless,
forgot.
I don't think you can say with any certainty like, ah, yes, I'm sure there are some channels that are built around giving contrarian opinions like these. It's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know why you're highlighting those specifically is my overall point,
Oh,
because there are some people who do just make contrarian content for the sake of it, but there are also people who are like, hey, I know this is a hot take, but this is my criticism of this
mhm.
game that a lot of people like. I don't
Yeah.
know. There's lots of that stuff in every medium, like the movie world and
Well, it's the media landscape. Yeah, of course. But like uh oh man, I was on to something, but I forgot. No. No.
maybe it'll come back to you.
Uh man, I cuz like how do you know if they're telling the truth? Well, there's some people I'm like who do want to say they just want it's not necessarily they're being negative, but they do want to chase an algorithm. And so they review every game ever. And it becomes sort of sterile in their review style. Like it almost becomes like there's no emotion into it. Um, then there's like you know kind of like the mainstream IGN stuff. It's like which are not I don't know if they're being contrarian or they're just not good at reviewing games. But like it could be who knows. But then there's like a synthetic man or something like who definitely wants to be contrarian. He wants that algorithm chase. Um, so there are people out there that sort of have this thing where it's like they definitely want the hate clicks and all that stuff. Articles are definitely the first thing I think of when I hear that. You know, because like it's the only way they stay in business is to have like we need to make most desperate um, article title ever, so people can click on it. Like, yeah, okay.
That's all it comes across as. As there will always be a small subsect of players who think that games like those are trash. However, they're just going to end up going to people who they kind of agree with. They're going to go to the people who say that The Witcher 3 is a terrible game, even though it's one of the best open world games, RPG games, overall
Okay, so
fantasy games to ever come out.
Well, that's your opinion, isn't it?
well, so what? Like, yeah, they might go to the persons that with their opinion that they agree with. Yeah,
Yeah. Are you saying that like they're starting to hate the toxic
it's
brood?
like,
Like
don't you see? They're going to someone who has a wrong opinion. I'm like, ah, well,
that's
you know what? That's gonna happen. You
that
know,
sounds negative to me. I don't know.
well, yeah, it does sound negative.
It's kind of funny when the like it's kind of funny. I don't think anyone ever does completely positive stuff. They're like, I want to be more positive. Then they're like, you come across as negative when you say these things about other people, right? It's like,
Well,
The
I
all
just
round
mhm,
I don't I wonder if he's gonna mention the opposite form of this, where like
love bombing.
well, not love bombing,
Hmm.
someone purely talking about something in a positive light for the benefits of coming across as like being very mild mannered
Mm-hmm.
and
Absolutely.
positive and like isn't that like every fucking IGN article that
Cinema
comes out
Yes.
about a new AAA title? It's like desperately trying to be positive.
Who's that
You
woman
can
that
pet the dog.
you could pet the dog?
Yeah.
It's too much water. 7 out of 10. But like the what was who was the Amanda Pierce? Right, that's her name. Um,
Yeah.
she's she. I remember her trying to defend Star Wars Outlaws. Was like, it's more complex than those other games, and it's like, wow. And then when she tries to be positive, she craps on 3 indie games. Like, oh, okay. Uh, it's it's like wow. There's like a one-person team, and they're like doing more gameplay elements than the one in Star Wars Outlaws because it's made for people who sit back in their desk and do nothing. All right, thanks.
And they'll say it's bad because it gets them views, it'll get them subs, and it'll gain them an audience of rabid fans. Overall, when it comes to the issue of extreme criticism, I think it comes down to just everyone delving a bit too deep into the weeds of the technicals and not caring about how a game makes you feel, which is something that I spoke on.
Oh boy.
It's like, well,
Listen, can you guys stop being so autistic and talk about how it makes you feel?
I just freaking like Hello Greedo over here. Like, how does it make you feel? It's like, okay, it made me feel crap because this mechanic not working. How about that?
When I kept glitching into the geometry, it made me feel bad.
But
The AI and security breach is broken. Well, how did it make you feel? It made me feel like shit. Oh, whoa.
It made me feel like I wasted my time and money.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like these games aren't free. They're not like they don't appear out of thin air. Like, stop it. And they're like, but you got this game. It's a wonderful miracle.
Video, and I'll discuss a little bit briefly here.
So I want to wonder, like, what does he mean by like technical details? It's like I understand what he's trying to say. If I were being good faith, it's like, well, the graphics are a little off in this area. It's like, all right, I guess it doesn't ruin the whole experience, but like, some people would take a point off for that. There are people like that who just want to be negative, but man, it's like, but man, your language is too broad.
Pretty much goes down the lines of talking about how, for example, you shouldn't care about every single small technical aspect of why you should or shouldn't enjoy a game. So, for example, a lot of people will complain about their FPS not being 60, the graphics not being up to scratch to what you expected.
Yeah, that's important. Stop saying it's not important, because it is. These things are the first things people think of when playing a game. The technical aspects, because guess what? Most people play on computers in the world, and it's like, and they need to pay attention to those.
The gameplay loop being a little bit weak, or the game having a couple bugs here and there, and overall they just kind of don't think about how a game might make you feel. They'll only go with, well, the game launched at 30 FPS, even though all these other things are quite good, but it's...
Well, yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
Well, but you're I don't know, I don't see what your overall point is. Are you saying that if they talk about how they make it how it makes them feel, then it'll be less negative? That's not true at all. If I didn't enjoy a game, I didn't like it, and that's how it made me feel.
What if their taste wasn't that
That's not positive.
Like, it's kind of funny. I don't even like open world games that much. And you're talking about how great these open world games are. And I'm like, I don't really care. That's not me being negative. That's just me being apathetic toward it.
It's 30 FPS, so I don't like it. It's just a bad take to have. You're better...
What? No, it's not. No, it's not. If someone said 30 FPS, I'm like, why? Why is it 30 FPS? The lowest standard should be 60 by now. Like,
so what is your standard here? Because if you're asking for how it makes me feel and not about the technical aspects, and then I mentioned that one part of the technical aspects of the game made me feel a certain way, like what? That's just a bad criticism now.
It's, what if that one bug keeps you from completing the game?
Like, what, can I not talk about the technical aspects at all in relation to how it made me feel?
It's kind of funny. Feelings are put into our, objective statements. It's kind of baked into it.
Yeah. Well, the technical aspects inform my opinion and control my feelings. If the game keeps crashing, that's going to shape how I feel about the game.
Yes. And
yes.
It's kind of funny because I couldn't complete The Last of Us because of a bug. It just wouldn't do it. And so I'm like, that's going to affect my feelings. Yes.
Well, I'm not watching a movie. I can't just judge the game based on the writing of the story and all that. Like it's a game. I have to play the game. The game has technical aspects that need to be taken into account when you're assessing its quality.
It's kind of funny that games are actually one of the more objective forms of media because it actually does have the technical aspects that you need to run it. Like that you need to
Like
go
this
into it.
doesn't he realize that during a very emotional cutscene in a story-driven game, if the environment keeps glitching, that's gonna fucking take me out of that real fast.
Yeah, what if
That's a technical issue that's ruining how I feel about the story.
It's like it's like when fucking Mueller was playing the Left Behind DLC in Last of Us Part 1, and as it when he was finished with the water gun minigame, it just cut to the cutscene, and the entire fucking building was missing. The floor was missing. Everything was void, as the characters were still there. And Mueller was like, "What the fuck?"
I remember it's kind of funny whenever I play Skyrim, I'm supposed to be immersing myself in this world, but like the dragon's glitching through the through the inn. It's like
That just makes them more scary.
it's dead. I get a free dragon soul. Like, all right, cool. It's yeah. I am the dragonborn. I killed people when I teleport.
Better off playing a game, seeing if you enjoy it. Yes, the FPS might bug you if its frame drops, like when the new Star Wars game released, and there was actually frame drop issues that made me have to just cheese my methods around certain parts of the game because it was that bad.
How'd that make you feel?
Yeah.
Isn't
that?
It doesn't sound like it made you feel very good.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like, wait, you're being kind of negative. Okay.
You had to cheese through some things. Wow.
Wow, it must be a bad game if you had to cheese through it.
There's a lot of games out there. Take the new Zelda game. That game has come out. A lot of people are complaining that it's not 60 FPS, but oh wait, a load of people love it. It's just the fact that we need to count.
What?
A load of people love it. Okay.
That's a popularity argument.
That's not. I was gonna say that's not addressing the criticism.
No, it's not. It just said, but a lot of people love it though.
I mean,
okay.
I agree that just saying something's not 60 FPS, that's not enough. I wouldn't say that's not a very substantial criticism. It's very surface level, but that's why it's not very interesting to say like, oh, look at all these people who said 60 FPS game bad. It's like, well, did you actually did they give any follow up reasons? Is the reason it has to be 60 FPS because I've taken into account where gaming is at right now, and this is what I've established to be the standard. And now they can judge things based on that standard.
It's kind of funny. Like, you could still love the game, but wish it was 60 FPS. I do that all the time with Bloodborne.
Well, how many video comparisons do I have to pull up of here's the game in 30 and here's the game in 60? And then when you watch it in 30, you see how there's integrated motion blur, that when you turn off the motion blur, which you can only do on PC for a reason, you see how the game looks worse. In fact, with motion blur, it looks worse. But when you take off the motion blur, you could see the frame just drops because it can't keep up with the speed of the camera. So I can just look at that, I could explain it, and now we've established why 60 is the standard.
By the way, if you guys look in VC text, I found the shot. Here it is.
Hold on. I'm in the chat window. I'm in the chat window.
That is great.
Hold on. I'm not there yet.
I'm under the world.
Show it to the stream.
That's fantastic.
That just looks like I see the voice of Link from CGI. Like, I won.
I won.
I did it.
Oh boy.
Oh goodness gracious! This is so. If you don't know, we were looking at Mahler's sort of screenshot of it going through the world of the Last of Us 2. So, anyways,
Oh, it wasn't going through the world. The world was gone for
well,
like
yeah,
one shot.
that's what I mean.
And then when
It's kind of like how like you go underneath the world and suddenly there's nothing. That's kind of
care more about how a game makes you feel than just the technical aspect of, oh, well, the game is not 60 FPS, the graphics are not 4K, and I can't run my PC that's $5,000 that no one actually owns on average.
who cares? What is this?
okay, now you're just being an asshole.
Yeah, you're being anti-elitist, which is making you elitist. Like
this guy got told that his computer sucks or something, or that he's
Yeah.
he's a console gamer scrub, and he took it personally.
Yeah. This reminds me of something Rags would sort of get into back in the day. It's like, dude, like it does. Yeah, but here's the thing: you get a choice as a PC gamer how good your rig is and how much you put into it.
Here's the thing: I can play games that are almost coming out in the current year. I built my PC. I built it back in 2020. It was supposed to be able to run games pretty well, like new games in 2020. I'm still able to play games that are coming out now for the most part because I can play them in like on lower settings.
Yes.
And lower and because I can adjust the graphics, that means I can maintain 60 FPS.
Me too. There's some new games. I'm like, as long as they're well optimized, I can run them. It's
Yeah,
that
I mean,
simple.
obviously,
Yeah.
certain games with like hyper realistic textures are usually no go for me. But then again, I say that, but I managed to play with some frame drops. I've been playing God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, that's a high fidelity game.
Exactly, right? And so, but thanks to it being on PC with all these different options, it can be optimized to it's technically outputting at 720, but then it gets scaled up to 1080 through computer magic.
What magical?
Magic.
How can we? It's how can we learn this power? Not from a console player. Like
because literally the average player doesn't have enough money to spend that amount of money on the thing. Like, to me, it just seems like being overly critical
Sure, dude, keep coping.
Of something when it doesn't really affect the most players.
Oh, look at that!
The conclusion of that
It glitched. Was that me or is it anyone else? Okay.
video was that
no,
we
it's
just
there,
become
and
more
it's perfect
cynical
timing.
as we grew.
It's kind of funny. He's talking about it doesn't bother me.
It doesn't affect most players, and then there's a glitch on the screen.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Well,
perfect.
I was gonna say, what if these problems are happening to the console version of a game? What now?
He's kind of well.
What
Guess
now?
what? Guess what? You can't fix it yourself. You have to call in somebody or get a new one. Oops.
Yeah, well, and the downside is I can't just change my graphic quality to like medium or high. Like, no, it's got to be on the highest and then the console just can't run it. And
I've always got a refund. It's never been denied. So I'll say that. Sorry.
Anyways, guys.
Oh, you gotta go?
I'm gonna head out now.
All right.
Yeah, I had an hour.
It's
It was
cool.
great talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you later,
Yep.
Felix.
Have a great day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I for the record, I also have to head out in 5 minutes.
Oh.
Something came up.
Oh, that's
Okay.
fine. I understand.
That's fine.
We can do this. That's why I have a co-host.
We can do this all
Maybe you'll actually get through the video.
I just love how he's
It's just the two
also
of you.
punching a stormtrooper with his helmet on. I'm so sick of this.
He's a Jedi.
I don't
All right,
care.
I'll give him a pass. I'll give him a pass on that. Hey, he's a Jedi.
He's physically punching him though. He's like, "Ow, ow! I should use up my force."
It's better than Tala from Obi-Wan Kenobi slapping a stormtrooper.
I don't.
and suddenly
It's still the
hitting him.
same level of dumb. Like,
Absolutely not. Someone that can do the things that Cal can do in the game, I believe that he can punch a stormtrooper in the helmet.
oh yeah. Well, then again, it's like he has extra force powers. So I'm like, yeah, sure, all right.
Cal has pretty decent plot armor, At least in the
Mhm.
first game I played. I
Uh,
didn't play Jedi Survivor.
let's just say like he gets like help from from that Night Sister person, and like she can bend time and space.
What's the difference between you said decent plot armor? What's the difference between decent and bad plot armor?
I didn't mean that in a positive way.
Oh, okay.
I meant like not a excessive amount of plot armor, but he has a fair amount.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's bound to happen to your protagonist.
Yeah, sure, if you write it that way.
What? Another subject for another time.
Yeah.
Grew older, and with that point, it mainly focused around when we were younger. We had more of an imagination that was able to fill the gaps of pretty much everything that meant that we
Oh,
weren't
yeah.
being immersed.
Oh gosh!
I remember this from last week. He's just like, hey, remember when you were a kid and you didn't care about
And you
frame
didn't
drops?
think?
And well, yeah, you just didn't care if the game was at low FPS or had bugs or of like, what the
But
fuck are you
most things are
talking
not
about?
true at all. It's kind
Like,
of like I remember I was playing on my NES when I was a kid, and I'm like, man, all these enemies are on screen and making it slow. I hate this.
it's just, oh god, it's so funny.
I remember
If-
going. Oh my gosh, that stupid turtles! Like what? Not many people know this, but like in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES, you have to go into the water and defuse all these bombs, and it would slow down, and that would ruin your flow. It's so aggravating. The level sucks too. Just
Remember over the years, a few games I played, I ended up getting my saves corrupted, but all on consoles.
mm,
Needless to say, that was not something I just got over and forgot about. At least not right away,
that's true.
because back then, if I put 20 hours into a game, that was a fucking lifetime.
hmm it kind of is because like
It,
there's
well, when you're a
oh
kid,
sorry, go ahead.
it's not like you have the same freedom with your time as an adult. So if you're playing a game for quite a while, then a few months for like a 10-year-old is a lot. It just substantially like in their mind seems a lot more.
Um, even as a kid, if I had 10 months of gaming, I'd be like, and it suddenly got corrupted, I'd be like, you know what, this isn't worth it. I'm just gonna do something else. Like it's like that would deflate me so hard.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, there's that frustration element where just because I was a kid, it didn't.
hmm
It still, I
It
still
didn't
suck.
reduce that frustration. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, because like it's I remember like whenever you would get a PlayStation 1 disc home from like something, and then you didn't have room on your memory card, but it's like if people don't remember, you got to have a memory card of like 15 slots, and
Yeah.
big RPGs had like 5 slots worth of like memory inside of it. It's like, daggone it. Like I don't want to get rid of these, but it's like I guess I have to in order to play
At
this
least
new game. Like
you say that, but like I don't remember. At least memory cards weren't very expensive.
they're like $15.
Yeah.
At least the PS2 ones were.
Yeah.
But still, that's expensive for a piece of
That's
plastic.
not too bad. I mean, you could fit a lot of games on one
True.
of those suckers.
For a PS2 one, true. Actually, we had like I like it. Forget the video for a second, but like there was we had these off-brand memory cards where it's like they had 15 slots, but if you push the button, it would go to another part of the memory card, and that would be another 15 slots. So it's like we had 30 in one. So it's like I I kind of loved early gaming when like third rate companies would make stuff, and it just maybe this will work, It's like, and when it does, it's like yeah, forget you official products.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a little better now, I think,
mhm.
in regards to that buying third party.
uh,
a game dropped in FPS, we didn't really notice because we didn't care about what FPS was. If the game's graphics weren't great, I guarantee you will.
It's okay. It's again. It's
I didn't know what
it's
I didn't understand it,
it's
therefore it didn't affect me.
it's kind of funny. It's like it's the same thing Red Letter Media would say about. I said this last time, but it's like you may not have known, but your brain did.
Ahead.
So would
You remember those
Mm-hmm.
would he apply the same criticism for like low quality movies? Because for example, when we went to go see Godzilla 2014 in the theater a long time ago, even though
In
a lot of
2014.
even
Sorry.
though a lot of the fight scenes in Godzilla 2014 were in nighttime, we were still able to see it clearly, all that sort of thing. But when we got the DVD for it and we watched it, the nighttime scenes were so fucking dark, you could hardly see anything going on. So we can apply this to video games as well. It's like lower FPS could tarnish the way the game is meant to look, just the same way that a DVD with low quality can tarnish the look and feel of a movie.
Yeah, we addressed this already.
Yep.
I know,
gameplay
but
graphics being
yeah.
so much better than what they actually
He just need to get off something off his chest. I completely understand.
are, because our little brains were able to fire off a load of cool ideas, create gaps in our memory, and just solve a lot of the issues. And even then, just solve the issues of when we were playing the games, because fundamentally, we
It
didn't
just feels like more cope now. Like it feels like, shut up, it's good because my feelings. Like yeah, okay.
care about it. Once we became older, we started to care way more about the smaller details. Which, yes, if there is
Do we? I think that's it's kind of funny.
Those
We
are
just what if we
those are
accepted them
smaller
in a
are
different
those
way? It's like
are those smaller details?
it's kind of funny. It's I keep saying that, but like it is. It's there's probably people out there who don't care about small details because they have a life. Maybe that's why. Instead of and maybe if you were a kid, you would notice the smaller details because you're hyper fixated on something because that's how kids are. It's like you don't know.
Yeah,
Like
but I'm wondering why you juxtapose that with talking about how, oh, when you're a kid there are certain things you didn't care about. Like, are you implying that the things that people complain about now are small details?
ooh, yeah.
Because those your examples were very bad if those were small details,
I
because
I
those are things that are very important. But obviously, that would go in the way of his point of like, yeah, but how did it make you feel? Why are you focused on the technical aspects?
it's because it feels like that this is what people say about CinemaSins about nitpicking. It's it kind of has that vibe.
FPS issues, for example. Take the new Star Wars game, like I mentioned. Yeah, that should be
Holy
called out.
crap!
However, if a title launches at 30 FPS, or has the option of 60, but it doesn't run smoothly, but you can run it in 30 and it runs fine, I don't see why that should discourage you from wanting to play the game and actually enjoying
Oof,
the game.
that animation was rough.
Thing that I heard many times in the video that I made was that people would say many kids are still loving games, therefore my take is incorrect. And I kind of half agree with it. I think there is a place to be critical of games as long as you are being constructive with that. So, for example,
Constructive. You can criticize as long as you're constructive.
What does that
All right.
mean?
The game
Go
can't
on.
start. I can't be constructive about that. Okay? If the game doesn't start, I can't be
that is
constructive.
yeah. Well, yes, you can be constructive about it, but
Oh, sure, but you know what
I'm trying to say that like
Mhm.
that what do you mean by constructive then? Because if you're saying something that I think you're saying, it basically nullifies what you said before.
I suppose what I mean is like you can criticize something without being constructive. There, I did it.
a creator that I think does a good job of this is Luke Stevens. He talks about this many times and he's very critical of many different games. However, he always offers and provides alternatives to how they should have been done in the first place within many of his critiques.
I think this is baked into criticism. I don't know why this has to be
Um,
said.
you can do that. You can choose to do that if that's the route you want to go. But
Yes,
I don't
that's
think you
also
have
true.
to provide an alternative to prove something is bad.
No, you don't need to. But this is kind of what criticism kind of is anyway. Like I don't think it needs to be said.
There is a difference between giving constructive criticism and being overly cynical about something, or even just being extreme.
But what if this is how it makes you feel? If like I'm gonna be overly cynical, yeah. I felt that way. Therefore I'm gonna be overly cynical.
Well,
Because
like, what if I feel cynical and a negative about the state of gaming, and so I decide to make
make
a
a
video on
video.
it? Well, I mean,
Oh no. His
I
feelings
don't
are
know, man.
validated because he's negative. But he's so soft spoken. He can't be negative.
I was gonna say you're criticizing the gaming industry right now.
Mm-hmm. And
I hope that I hope you're only making constructive criticism and not just saying things because that's how you feel about it.
it's kind it the it's I think one of the laws of sort of good content creation would be like you need to be self-aware. Like it's always you need to have a thumb on your own emotional state and the community at large.
Cynical about everything just because it can get you views.
Oh, Call of Duty. It's kind of funny he says lack of change when all those things changed.
Change is something that is really hard to deal with within entertainment and really generally within life. Because the issue is that change can either go in one of two directions, which is either good or bad. Which within this entertainment industry, there is a lack of it in general.
Thanks. I didn't know that.
We rarely see genuine change, and the best example of change, I think, is the Assassin's Creed franchise. Don't worry, I'm not going to completely slate everything, as if I take you back to 2015 when Assassin's Creed Syndicate came out and Ubisoft and everyone at large within the community realised change needed to happen. The formula had become stale. And a couple years after that, the release of Assassin's Creed Origins came out. The game at the time was loved by almost every single member of the fanbase, and you would rarely see anything negative about it on YouTube, and generally anywhere. It's only within the last 2 years that I've seen a lot of people start to say that the game is either complete trash because they think it's bad, or it's because it was the first RPG Assassin's Creed game that led to Odyssey and Valhalla. I'll go into depth in a video soon about why
People go in varying directions. It because of its popularity. Say it ain't so.
I think
On
the
that
latter
note,
is an
on that note, guys, I gotta
Gotta
head
hop
out.
out. Yeah. Well,
See you,
thanks
Shep.
for coming by.
Thanks.
You're always good for coming on the show, and you have good things to say, so it's good.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks for coming on, Shep.
It's all good. All right. I'll catch you later.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Catch you later.
Well then, oh, here we go. Hey, Zeddy. Decent plot armor. Criticism good. He takes damage.
an awful way of thinking.
So what I'm saying about this kind of funny, he says like if something's popular, it will have multiple different directions of criticisms. Like Resident Evil 4 is a great example of this. The original Resident Evil people did not like Resident Evil 4. But there's people who love Resident Evil 4 and then go on from that and then realize that it led to Resident Evil 6 and therefore they hate Resident Evil 4. There's also people who just love Resident Evil 4 and dismiss 5 and 6. So it's like those are three different tangents of fans already. And it spreads out even more. So it's like, yeah, welcome to how information works, you know?
Yeah.
About everything about that game, and that is going to be reserved for my video that is going to be in the works very soon, so don't worry. I've seen a couple comments of people asking me about it. My In Defense of Assassin's Creed Origins video will come out probably in like the next month or so. At the time of Origins release, almost every single creator that you could see was agreeing that it was a great taste of fresh air that we needed. But once the years went by, we ended up getting the likes of Odyssey that went fully off the cliff for the avid.
Maybe, well, there is a thing called the honeymoon period, where it's like people realize like maybe it wasn't as good as I thought it was. Maybe that could have been a thing too, but we'll see if he actually brings some like
Yeah.
it's negative to be
Well,
positive. I don't know.
Ultimately, I can't say anything about these new Assassin's Creed games because I have not played any of them. But
Well,
yeah.
it's just the ideas that I'm sort of responding to because I've never played an Assassin's Creed game. So
Assassin's Creed fan out there, and they tried to climb back up with the likes of Valhalla. However, it fell flat on its face, as it was nothing more than just awful and spitting in the face of your general Assassin's Creed fan. Which means the game that started all of this now gets viewed.
well, it's kind of funny. This is what all companies do nowadays anyway. They spit in the fan's face. So
I don't hear anybody calling
Mhm.
Odyssey the no, wait, not Odyssey. What was it?
Valhalla,
No, the Egyptian one.
that's Odyssey, I think,
Or no, it's Origins. Yeah, it's
or
Origins.
Origins. My bad, my bad.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Origins. I don't hear anybody calling that the bad one. I mean, I've talked with someone who played Origins after all the other Assassin's Creed were coming out, and right when Shadows was announced, is it's just they hate that this is what the series has become because of the controls of Origins, but they don't blame Origins specifically as a bad game because of what they did later.
Well, people can learn the wrong lessons. That's just how
Yeah.
it is. Like again, Resident Evil 4, they learned the wrong lessons from 4 and just did 5, and then they did 6. This sort of streamlined example of what happens when you learn the wrong lesson.
Is the bad guy in this situation, when in reality it was that Ubisoft chose to chase the money of The Witcher 3's success. Now the issue around this change is that you ended up alienating a load of
That's kind of a claim. All right.
the fans, and this completely blows away any idea of many companies out there wanting to even scratch the idea of just changing their game's formula, because why would they risk losing their fans, who are
Well, yeah, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Like that's a phrase, but like it's kind of funny. Final Fantasy kind of has the same system of combat, but it always changes the level up system. Like it's not just gain a level like anymore. You have to go to a grid or a panel to get your abilities, or like a skill tree or the sphere grid or materia. It's like it always changes. Like so there are things to change, but you keep the core the same. You know, you don't break the spirit, as it were. And if you're gonna do that, like you need to make sure that like it's gonna be good. You know, God of War 3 to God of War 2018. Those are drastic changes,
Yes.
but it was it had good reception.
fundamentally going to be the ones who keep buying their games in the long run, which has led to a lot of games over the last decade either being sequels to the same sort of game or just remakes. With the likes of the entire Assassin's Creed franchise up until Origins, and then doubling down after that again. Games like Dead Space, Last of Us 1, Link's Awakening, and Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire were all games that brought these
5 games.
Oh, hold on,
original-
hold on.
Yeah.
I want to hear. I want to hear.
Okay. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Hold on.
Alpha Sapphire were all games that brought these original games to the forefront once again, but fundamentally they were built off of ideas that came way before because they knew that it would make them good money. Which isn't all.
Whoa,
What's
hey,
wrong with
okay.
that? What's wrong with
Okay,
that anyway?
So first of all, Last of Us Part 1 got fucking shat on release.
for its PC
Second-
release, yes.
Second of all, I don't know many fans of the remaster of Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Was it?
Omega Ruby Sapphire.
Yeah,
It's fine. It's what I hear, but yeah.
Link's Awakening and Dead Space are the ones that are more, loved by people because they are remakes of the games, but they, add new stuff that's needed. They
Quality of
they
life
do-
features is what they're called.
yeah, and
Oh,
yeah,
sorry. Go ahead.
The Dead Space remake is pretty great from what I've
In
played.
fact, it's better than the original. It definitely connects the whole ship without the loading screens, makes it feel more natural. In fact, it's a little more frightening because like there's no pause screen to give you time to breathe. It's just the long ride of the tram. It's like, ooh, it feels it more connected and like And here's the thing, it's kind of funny. He views it all like as cynical, like they only did it to make money. It's like, yeah, is that a bad thing that they want to make money from this? Like, why is it a bad thing just to make money? Like, in order to stay afloat, they need to make money. It is a business after all. You mentioned this before, so I get why it's a greedy aspect would be bad though. I totally get that, but like, you definitely want to make money.
Always a bad thing. I'm not going to say that it is. And the endless sequels that we end up getting, we end up having some hits such as Assassin's Creed 2, RDR2, Arkham City, and then I've even heard good things when it comes to Tears of the Kingdom as well. And then you've got some misses out there such as Sim City, Halo 5, to some Fallout 4, and then Crackdown 3. Sure, you could just say this is just the world of game development now, but why is it so rare?
It's kind of funny. He's had Spider-Man sort of like on the screen when like that was that sort of foundation of what Spider-Man is has already been done by other people, and it's successful. It's a fun game.
Yeah, I really enjoy
You see
Spider-Man
anything
PS4.
new.
Mhm.
Gaming is meant to be one of the best forms of media to tell a vast array of stories that makes it so unique for the player experience, but we end up just getting a load of the same game. The reason that it's got
Which is kind of interesting, because like I'm not gonna go full Theo and say like stories don't matter to games, but I will say like gameplay is the first thing you got to get right instead of the story or the plot or like anything like that. But I can't say that I've never been affected by the plot and that's why I don't like the game. Like I will say that.
to this point, though, is down to two primary things. One is corporatization and globalization of gaming, and the other is the average customer. The first reason I mentioned earlier, which is the average game studio has a lot of bills to pay, from the people cleaning the dev team offices all the way up to the CEOs of the company. But most importantly, for a lot of these companies out there, they have their shareholders to pay, as these are fundamentally the people that have a lot of money in the company and are taking a massive risk with these companies. They could end up losing a ton of their money, so companies don't want to risk losing other people their money by changing the formula.
Whoa.
What the
Did you
fuck
see
was
that?
that?
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
I gotta see that again. It's flash green.
Risk
Yeah.
with these companies. They could end up losing a ton of
Here
their
we go.
money, so companies don't want to risk losing other people their money
Why not?
by changing the formula
Whoa.
because,
That
Was that an
distracted
error
me.
on his? Was that an error on his part or our part?
I think it's just that the game didn't know what to do with its graphics, and so it's like, and so he caused a graphical bug somehow.
So I
But
don't know if I've ever
that was
told
neat.
you this. I don't know if I've ever told you this story before, but there was a time where I was getting my friend to play the original Last of Us. Not the. It was the PS4 remaster, not the PS5 remaster. But
Mm-hmm.
what when he was playing it, he was just kind of messing around with the stealth, seeing what he could get away with, and so he just started beating the shit out of everybody, and then as he was beating the shit out of somebody, uh, the game was like, all right, now Joel needs to do a finishing animation on the guy. So you know how Joel will like smash their face in on like a counter or something like that.
Yes.
Well, it did that, but there was nothing to smash his face onto. So Joel grabbed the body, zoomed over across the room, and smashed the guy's face in on a box flap. I wish we recorded that. That was fucking hilarious.
Instant transmission. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyways.
some people out there want it to change. Look at Assassin's Creed. This is a good example. Sure, you're getting Mirage, which if you take Ubisoft at their word is going back to the root of the franchise, but outside of that, the next 4 games are all going to be open world RPG games. They've pretty much confirmed, I think, that the 2 of them or 3 of them.
Well, the reason why they want RPG games is so they can sell you equipment. And so you can be tempted to buy something.
And then the next one probably will be as well. So all in all, yeah, they're only really doing it just to kind of appease people, in my opinion, and then they're just going back to the same thing. I'm fine if they do that and they want to release an Assassin's Creed like linear story game every like.
But no, you're not. I would detest this because you said earlier that like it's a bad thing how companies are greedy, but then you want them to go back to like you don't care if they release an RPG. It's like like they need to try something different, but now they found a new formula. So it's like, and that new formula is causing it to be less Assassin's Creed. So is that? I guess that's yeah. I guess you just don't care about Assassin's Creed. Maybe I don't know. Sounds a little bit iffy.
Like few years, that's fine with me. But overall, I don't think anyone should look at it as any different than that. The reason for this, though, is that they know they can financially sustain losing the core fan base. For the money that they were able to bring in with the likes of Assassin's Creed Valhalla made them over $1 billion. So why exactly would they care tons about satisfying the original fan base? The other issue, like I mentioned, is the average consumer, which isn't us, sadly. Now I know that there are a lot.
I'm not your average consumer. But
Well, he said
all right.
he said the average consumer, which isn't us, sadly.
Which isn't us, sadly. Oh, okay. I heard is us. But like,
No.
I think the average
I'm pretty sure
consumer is just people out in GameStop going like, "Hey, I want that."
Let's rewind when it says just in case.
Sure.
The original fan base. The other issue, like I mentioned, is the average consumer, which isn't us, sadly. Now I know that there are a lot of people online and
Isn't
like
us.
to think that we are like the average person's thoughts and the average person opinion.
Nope.
But fundamentally, we just aren't. We are way more in the weeds.
Wait,
of this
hold
than
on. I want to actually analyze that. It's like, why is it inherently sad that we're not the average consumer?
Because we know more than the average person. Because we are looking into things. We're looking at the details, and we're in the weeds, so to speak. Just
I don't know how that's sad.
No, it's not. Well, the reason why is because like these games would be failing, or they'd be more scrutinized if they were. So it's like it's sort of sad because it earns a lot of money when it shouldn't be. That's what I think. But it's just kind of funny because like he's being negative again. The average consumer is not as sophisticated as us, but he didn't say that. He didn't say that though.
Most people are. If you're sat here watching a video essay this far into it, you're probably
Oof.
not the average.
Cringe. Just calling it a video essay. It's cringe. I don't care if you could submit your YouTube to a college course. I don't care. It's a YouTube video. You can do however structure you want.
Average player. The average player is chilling, playing Call of Duty one evening, jumping on a new single player game that's just come out every now and again, but typically playing the online shooter types, like these sorts of things. Most average players are not like us who want to care about all of the little weeds in everything.
Well, why should you care about the details? Because like just they feel like they're having a good time. Right? Well, shouldn't you care about their feelings instead? Like, I don't know.
The average player doesn't care about if the new Call of Duty game sucks that much, or if Odyssey strays away from the lore of Assassin's Creed, because for the most part, they don't even care about the overall stories being told, so why does it matter? However, on the other end of this, you have people reaping the rewards from the likes of From Software, who actually decided to go all out on the core fan base and the Souls fans, giving them the
Yeah, and the thing is though, that game made a lot of money because of that though. So
Is he talking about the DLC that's coming for Elden Ring,
No, no, no.
which has like
Elden Ring just came out like I think at this point.
oh yeah.
I want to go back a little bit. Hold on.
Decided to go all out on the core fan base and the Souls fans, giving them an actual open world experience with Elden Ring. Yes, they might have dumbed down on many parts of the game for the casual player to play, however, all round this game is built to be the Souls fans' amazing open world. And you can't really knock this company for the fact that they decided to go with, you know what, we're doubling down on what we know and what we know our customers love. And instead of doing what, Assassin's Creed did, where they chased the money with From Software, they kind of created something.
Well, it's kind of funny. I think FromSoft did chase the money. Because it really is somewhat emptier, I think, than the rest of the Dark Souls series or Demon Souls or Bloodborne or even Shadows Die Twice. It's like, because they just made Dark Souls 3 the Cruel Edition, and it's kind of empty, really. This open world experience, it's I don't know. I don't feel like it has like too much open world. Like the structure of it, it's really odd, but it's like, I don't know. It just feels unfinished to me. In certain ways.
And they cultivated slowly a bigger and bigger audience. They found their money effectively. They found their audience and started cultivating it more. Whereas with the likes of Ubisoft, they kind of chase audiences instead. I think we do need new games coming out, but sadly, I think this is only going to be coming within the form of the indie genre, as they're really the only ones who can take the massive risk, as they don't have massive overhead to be paying out. They don't have to take the risky bets of if their game doesn't work out. Whereas a company like Rockstar can't spend 5 years developing a game that...
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. I don't 100% agree with that because Cuphead was an indie game that was in development for years, and people were really excited by how that game looked, how it looked like it was gonna play, and so I bet you that if Cuphead turned out to be like a horrible buggy mess, people would be really upset about that. The same way they'd be really upset about a AAA game failing like that.
Well,
So I don't think it's 100% true that an indie game failing isn't going to be as detrimental as a AAA game failing.
In fact, they put their lives, like they're not their lives, but it's like, if this game doesn't succeed, they're gonna chopping off their heads. Like, no. But like, no. What I mean is, like, their livelihood was on the line with this game. They spent all their money. Their house was going to be foreclosed, and so they're like, and it did succeed. Like, it was one of those stories. Whoops.
And then end up piling loads and loads of money.
Sorry, that was my fault.
It sure was. Anyways, sorry. But like, geez. So it's just kind of interesting that, like, they have no overhead, as much overhead. Because the thing about some indie games do have overhead. Like, they do have people making sure that they do something. There is still an owner, like, of that project. If you remember, like, was it like a Red Barrel, Outlast? Like, that was a team of people that came off another big team, and it's like, what about those guys? It's like there's always going to be like someone to actually be accountable for stuff. So I don't know. I don't 100% agree with it, but I can get what he's generally going for.
Into it because it could flop, as this is just not a good idea. The time and the revenue splits by the end just wouldn't work out in anyone's favor. So overall, they're not going to change anything. Most big studios aren't going to change anything, so if we want to lean into what
I guess I agree that big studios don't want to change, because it's kind of funny, because if those whales stop paying, where are they going to go? And then, like,
is going to be general change, then the indie community is what is going to have to be looked at, or we have to lower our expectations going into new games.
I'm hopeful.
Well,
Okay.
well, I'm hopeful. Gaming is dying. This is why I'm hopeful.
Gaming is dying. Criticism is ruining games. Critics are, fucking up everything. People keep complaining about 60 frames per second. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
It's kind of interesting how this is the video essayist thing I don't like is that you have to leave on a high note. It's like or I should say like the uplifting note, I should say.
It's like your average. It's like your average American Hell's Kitchen episode. No, not Hell's Kitchen. Kitchen Nightmares.
Kitchen Nightmares? Well, yeah, that's more of a formula of how do you say what's that kind of show called? Uh like the Bachelor, Bachelorette type shows where it's reality TV. Daggone, why is that so hard to find? But like, yeah, reality TV, especially Western TV, like, yeah. But it's like, if you talk about normal stuff, it's like, nah, they don't need to be hopeful at all. But it's just this kind of thing where it's like, oh, I feel really sad. And it's like, ooh, look at that, I'm hopeful. Like, but then again, I'm being awfully pessimistic. Let's give him a chance.
I do think we're in a good time though for gaming. We might have these.
Okay.
That's just funny to me. It's how much okay, I've been waiting for this and now I can lay out my full house, sort of thing. Gaming is nowhere near dying when it comes to money aspect. The only reason some of the game industries are dying or game companies are dying is because the way they've been doing business has failed. Like, it was always going to be a long-term loss with a short-term gain. By the way they do business with their with the loot boxes, because they wanted to get the money now, take the money and run. And this is the result. But gaming is not gaming earns more than movies and music industry combined. It's wow. It's a billions-dollar industry. It's fine. It's doing good. The only reason we see this is because like the AAA industry won't let you forget that they're dying. Like, in fact, that's why you see them on the Super Bowls, commercials, all that stuff. It's like, man, they are desperate for your attention.
Why did he even fucking title his video "Gaming is Dying, This Is Why," and then he ends the video with "Gaming isn't dying."
Hold on. Let me go back a little bit. Okay.
Going to be general change, then the indie community is what is going to have to be looked at, or we have to lower our expectations
Well,
going
how about
into new games.
Also, there's AA games. Like, those still exist too.
I do think we're in a good time though for gaming. We might have these issues and more depending on how far down the rabbit hole you want to go down, but they don't destroy everything we have coming out, and especially what has also been released in recent memory. In the last video I did talk quite positively about 8 games in particular, which was RDR2, Spider-Man, God of War, Elden Ring, Jedi Fallen Order, Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and it.
Look at that lag! Look at that lag!
I talk about some good games like Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, I didn't even hear that. Yeah, rip Joel. He's an evil man.
He's an evil man.
He's responsible for every death.
Jim Sterling thinks he's the fucking devil, apparently.
Well, you remember Joseph Anderson said, like, Joel was responsible for every death in the first game.
Literally every death after the first game is Joel's fault.
It's like, no.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Don't worry, guys. My father saves
My father
He's a saint.
That reminds me of the fucking clip when Waller was playing Last of Us Part 2. When it's revealed that the doctor was her dad, you know, Mahler was kind of mocking it, going like, "Oh man, that was her dad," and Joel killed him, and then he just pauses the game and goes, "That man saved the zebra."
She ate burritos.
She ain't bird.
I want to give some credit to a few newer games that have come out and the ones that I've heard some good things for, but also adding on top
Oh, this is the counterbalance of the negative. He's like, I'm trying to be positive because there's too much negativity in
I hate it.
in the YouTube space. Like,
I
not
hate it
really.
when fucking YouTube. I hate it when YouTubers do that. It's just like I wanna try and be positive. I can't be too negative. It's just like, well,
Okay, here's the
dun,
thing.
dun,
Don't
dun,
tell
dun,
people
dun.
that. Do it. Like, I do
Fucking
that.
hell!
I
It's
do
Chris
that.
Stuckman. It's Chris Stuckman all over again. I want to be positive.
I want to be
I don't
positive,
want to.
Brandon.
I don't want to criticize other people's work
It's
because I'm also
everyone on
doing
the
my own work.
platform. Everybody on the platform does this. It's it's like I gotta be positive or I gotta be over dramatic.
I hate it.
It's kind of funny because this is something I do. I will actually say negatives and positives, but it's like, but then again, that's baked into criticism.
of that, the ones that I'm more hopeful for moving forward. The first on this list of more recent games to come out has to be Jedi Survivor. I've obviously heard tons around the controversies around this game, and I've personally experienced firsthand many of the FPS issues, but outside of this, I don't think the game is bad in any.
That's why he said FPS is, and the argument's not important, because he played a game he liked that had terrible FPS. Alright. Also, the animations are terrible. Like,
Good fucking job. You failed at your job.
I just love it that, like, look at this guy. The way he travels with this lightsaber, it looks like he's a puppet. Like, he's janky.
I've obviously heard tons around the
Here we go.
controversies around this game.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
personally
that is a-
experienced
Woulda.
firsthand many of the
Woulda,
FPS
woulda.
issues, but outside of this, I don't think the game is bad in any way. It's really good.
I love it. After those animations, he gets shot down.
Look at that fucking the image you paused on. Look at jabbing his lightsaber forward, and that stormtrooper is taken aback. I know he got a shot deflected at him, but this is a funny out of context image.
Really great fun, and if you love Star
Look
Wars,
at that.
you're
Look
probably
at how
gonna
he
love the
handles
game.
his lightsaber. It irks me.
Fundamentally, it does what everyone loved about the first game and then added extra improvements, but didn't go out of its way to be outlandishly different. All round, this game is what it should be. And
It's kind of funny because you said gaming should be different and stop doing the same things. But this is a sequel, so listen, I know what you're saying, but it kind of sounds like you're debunking yourself. A little bit, but I understand if it's a sequel, you need to do the same thing, but make it better. You know, like that's what good sequels in video games do.
improvement on its predecessor, and this is how sequels always should be, an improvement on the original. Tears of the Kingdom recently also came out, and I've heard plenty of positive things. I first need to play Breath of the Wild before I even consider it. Going from a game, though, that before launch, people were complaining, like, constantly about the fact that it wasn't going to be 60 FPS, and the recent opinion...
Oh my gosh, he's still on the FPS. Like, we get it.
On Breath of the Wild that I've heard when it comes to it not being that good. However, from what I've seen, a lot of people are generally really happy with the game and think that it's very good, and I can't...
Transformers is great, you guys, because a lot of people loved it and it made a lot of money. Therefore, it's good.
Tears of the Kingdom is a good game, but I can understand the criticism that it has a low FPS.
Yep, and that could be a problem for people. It can be a real problem.
Can't wait to see what it's like for myself eventually. Another one as well that I did get a lot of people recommending to me that I've played a little bit. I've played 5 hours of Kingdom Come Deliverance back in 2019. However, I then went away on holiday and then it kind of just went into my backlog of playing and I just never bothered with it. I do want to go replay it and I will do at some point. However, I've got a lot of other things that I'm working on and other videos that I want to work on for this channel. So right now, it's definitely on the back burner for probably like next year. But yeah, I've heard plenty of good things. I've played the game for a little bit, obviously not tons. And from that little experience, I knew that it was a good
I also, it feels like that, like a lot of gaming YouTubers do this, where it's like they think it's really tough to go out there and find good games. It really isn't. It's not tough. In fact, people go out of their way to find bad games. Like it's
good game. 100% I would recommend it. It's just definitely scratching the itch of a good open world game. It looks good as well when you consider that it came from a studio that I don't believe was wildly well known.
Well, again, it's kind of funny you say that because they probably have people looking over them. They have overhead and they had to look good.
Hogwarts Legacy is also another game that came out this year and has done amazingly well, even with the controversies of
You are really married to the popularity argument, aren't you? Like, that's not a good argument. You're the same one that's like, well, everyone's jumping off the bridge, so it must be a good idea. It's like, no.
You know, people have been criticizing that I shouldn't do suicide, but a lot of people tell me that suicide is
No,
badass. So you know,
disavow,
I'll try it.
disavow, disavow. Do it in,
Eject!
do it in Minecraft, please, or Dark Souls. I don't care. Like,
game. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you're going to probably enjoy this. You ended up seeing Harry Potter fans for the first time in ages get a genuine chance to enjoy a game purely made for them, which really hasn't happened in a long time. Obviously, you've got some that are based off of the films and books, but all round, they weren't exactly like this, where they are full open world experience where you just...
he loves open world experiences.
I guess he does.
Yeah,
which is fine. It's a
it's
preference.
fine. Yeah, it's like, it's my preference against open worlds, and I'm like, yeah, this doesn't really. I don't know. I just don't care for them.
kind of get to freely explore however you would like. You also have God of War Ragnarok, which
Yay!
was received really well, selling amazingly well, and I believe being one of the best selling.
It's all he has for like positives. It sold really well.
All he's fucking doing is going like, look, there are games that are still good to this day. It's like, then why is your video saying gaming is dying? This is why.
Clickbait? I don't know.
You give me all these reasons and you're like, gaming isn't dying, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, the vibe. And by the way, God of War Ragnarok, huge plus. Go play it.
Sony games, I believe, off launch. I believe so anyway. But again, like Jedi Survivor, this game is what a sequel should be. It was literally what the first game was, expanded on it, and did a good job of just kind of keeping the audience there for the ride. Then you have Animal Crossing New Horizons, which I was surprised
Let me guess, it sold well?
that I didn't mention in the first video, as that, along with Warzone, were like the only two things I was playing and doing during lockdown, or at least...
What? Whoa, wait a minute. Warzone? That's a Call of Duty game.
No, lockdown. I'm pretty sure he said.
No. Warzone. In lockdown. Because it was 2019 or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some people are just now getting out of lockdown. Back then.
This was during COVID age, right?
This was last year, correct? So it's 2024. Depending on where you live, you could still be under a lockdown.
No. If this was last year, this is YouTube being weird. This is 2023, I believe.
Okay. All right. Hold on, let me go back.
What the first game was, expanded on it, and did a good job of just kind of keeping the audience there for the ride. Then you have Animal Crossing New Horizons, which I was surprised that I didn't mention in the first video, as that, along with Warzone, were like the only two things I was playing and doing during lockdown, or at least...
Oh, okay. So he had past videos where he didn't mention these two games. All right.
the first one in the UK. I ended up sinking tons
Yep, UK makes sense. They were under lockdown longer than most.
I ended up sinking tons of hours in this new game. It was so great. And anyways, moving on to the next
time
game
into
that I'm
it,
gonna say
and
is
in my
very
opinion, it's the
popular.
pinnacle of Animal Crossing for me, and I can't wait to see when they release their next game, as to be honest, I kind of want to play an Animal Crossing game again, and I've already played that one through, and I can't be asked really to actually sink tons of time into it until there's a new one out. We also have some games that are in the works right now and should hopefully be coming out in 2023, with the likes of Spider-Man 2, Starfield, and Assassin's Creed Mirage. All of them are games that I'm really looking forward to, Spider-Man 2 being one of the ones that, honestly, I really want to just
Be prepared. You're gonna get negative comments.
I just want to jump into this open world.
Yeah, he loves open world games. Also, you know, the swagger of a black boy. Yeah, look at that.
The exaggerated swagger of a black. Oh boy.
just jump back into that world, and I've been hyped to get into that game again. I played the first one again for the channel about a year and a half ago, and I probably will replay it at some point soon. Just one.
It looks like the same. I know it's the same city, but it just looks like they just redid it.
Well, they added more parts to the city. They added a whole section.
All right. I mean, that's the least they can do.
I could make a video out of it, but secondly, I just want to replay it so that when the second game comes out, I can just be freshly available just to jump straight into it. Starfield is one that I'm also super excited to see what they end up doing, as this is the first time that Bethesda is actually giving us a proper game within the realms of their development space since Fallout 4.
No one gave a shit about it.
Oh, everyone cared. It's just that it was meant with meh because they played it. Like, and they're like, oh, this isn't very good.
That's something the quote is just like, yeah, people were very mad about it because they played it.
Yeah.
People will say, oh well, 76, but there's a difference between 76 and what they normally do. All round as well.
No, we're comparing it to Fallout 4, really.
Before Starfield, 76 was their latest game. What the fuck are you talking about normally do?
Well, because it's online with NPCs that are supposed to be other players, and they realized that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Like, I understand what he means. It's online only, but I would compare it to Fallout 4, where it's like that was their last game that they made a single player in their own IP. And it's like, but this one was like, they hyped Starfield up. And so it's like, and it was one of the most disappointing things since No Man's Sky's launch.
Well, this game is a new IP, so it'll be very interesting to see what they do when it comes to a new thing all round. But for me, fundamentally, why I'm actually interested in this game is just to see what we might be looking at when it comes to the quality of a game when it gets to Elder Scrolls 6.
Well, yeah, people have been let down now because of it. It's kind of funny. It's like I expected them to say open world. It's like, yeah, we know. You want to see the things. That's cool. All right.
And then lastly, we've got Assassin's Creed Mirage, which I am on the fence of. And obviously, I said during this video a few things around like how we shouldn't be hyped for it based off 5 minutes of leaked footage. All round, I am still
5 minutes of leaked footage? That's actually a lot. And if that's a beta, then like, yeah, but it's a beta, but still it's like, oof. I wonder what that leaked footage is.
interested. I am hoping it is what they're saying it is. I just can't take Ubisoft, to be honest, at their word after their last few games. But all around, I'm not nihilistic towards this game. I do think that we will hopefully get what is promised. And yeah, we'll just see what it ends up being. I will get it on launch, and I'll hopefully enjoy it as well. I'm really excited about the future of gaming, especially with the likes of...
The future of gaming. You know these 5 games that are AAA in scope?
Oh, he goes like, indie games won't suffer as much damage, and then he at the same time he goes, so anyways, all these AAA games.
Yeah. Man, it's so weird. It's like, this is why you think gaming is dying, because the games you love from your past, that these AAA games are not doing as well. It's like, yeah, their quality's gone down. That's just gonna happen when they're like this.
of the Unreal Engine 5 being released, and how much that's going to.
That's my guest motivation, by the way. I'm not saying it is, but man, it just comes across that way.
No, I understand.
Yeah, I'm just saying it for the audience, okay?
Allow like indie creators to make great looking games and at the same time make games that are within what they want to be creating. It opens it up so much more for competition that's going to make a lot of these bigger companies actually have to think about making higher quality games. I do have high hopes moving.
What do you mean higher quality? You mean higher fidelity or higher quality and gameplay focused?
Forward, but mainly because of one thing, which is what I've already kind of spoken about in previous videos, but is more importantly around the fact that companies such as Activision, Bethesda, Ubisoft, EA, and Rockstar have heard a lot of criticism levied against them or against other companies, and they're kind of on thin ice within the online community, which has kind of led the likes of EA going from an anti-single player games company to now having published 2 games recently that have done really well, with Rockstar knowing that there's a ton of pressure on them to release GTA 6 and make it good, Ubisoft trying to rekindle.
Wow, old Mary Jane looks so much better. The older model, I mean.
Some essence of their original fan base that they've lost over the last few years, and Activision seeing sales decrease over on PlayStation for the new Call of Duty are all signs that companies are going to have to start entering the real world and what people actually think of it, instead of kind of what the last decade has been, where consumers kind of pay for whatever's in front of them instead of thinking before paying. I am very hopeful moving.
Well, okay, that's weird, but alright.
Forward for gaming, and all round I am hopeful for just the future of the next few games that we get in the next few years. This year's already been quite good, so yeah, I can't really complain so far this year. Yeah, I think for Spoken is like a big L so far. Then it comes to like a big release that was talked about. But all round, Hogwarts Legacy came out, that's been a big hit. Star Wars Jedi Survivor came out, big hit. And then you've got the news.
Oh my gosh! Freaking Mike, guess you repeat yourself a lot. Like, get on with it.
Zelda game, again, a massive hit and has done really well. So, again, it's looking good. It's looking good moving forward, so I can't complain.
It's looking good. I can't complain!
I hate this.
I can't complain. But here's how many minutes of me complaining. I don't know. You made 2 videos about how it's dying, but I can't complain.
I can't complain at all.
Entire video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I wanted to leave it off with a bit more of a positive note. Last time
shut the fuck
okay,
up.
I would leave on a positive note like you just been doing that for 10 minutes. Holy crap, dude.
God almighty.
Use some self-awareness in your videos, please, content creators. Please.
15 minutes, even though a lot of people try to say like the entire video of a 30-minute video was like purely negative. I did spend 15 minutes like being fairly positive in my opinion anyway, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy.
It doesn't matter if you're negative. It doesn't matter if you're negative.
Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. Please like and subscribe. Buy my wallet that Froggo has, coincidentally.
It's like, make sure to like my video and subscribe. Yeah. I just love the idea of, like, he has the self-awareness to realize he was negative, but he didn't realize, like, wait a minute. I said some things like, I can't complain about, and I'm being positive now. The title of your video is wrong.
And if you did, make sure to leave a like, do subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Like I said, I do have a Patreon where you can see early access to videos like this, channel, and active Q&As, that sort of thing. So yeah, if you want to check that out, it'll be down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
You have a good one too. You know what? I hope you have a good one. No ill will whatsoever. I'm fine.
I'm gonna be honest. I was getting very tired.
Oh yeah, it's something else, man. Like there's not much to do for an outro really. That's just the other part.
Yeah, that's the other part.
We need to do something more exciting. I think next time we'll look at a positive video about writing. The Alistair video. So it's like because he's a fellow EFAP enjoyer. So he definitely has something worth talking about. So and anywho, I'm still working on that Buffy video. I've actually done some work, so I just have to do some more voicing tomorrow, and so I'll be able to like do actual editing, like and um I don't know what to say about anything next. Really. Uh, I guess we'll stop for now. Bye bye.
Oh boy.